Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited. Breaking news, B-21 makes first flight. Samson Sky makes first full test flight. Virgin Galactic laying off 185 people. PSA offering $250,000 bonuses for FedEx and UPS pilots. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. First, some breaking news. B-21 makes first flight. Introduced to the public in late 2022, the next-generation B-21 Raider flying wing bomber has flown. The B-21, of which 100 are expected to be produced, is eventually destined to replace both the B-2 Spirit and the B-1 Lancer. The B-21's much-anticipated first flight started with a departure from Northrop's Development Center at Plant 42 in Palmdale, California. The flight took place just after sunrise on Friday and was accompanied by fighter aircraft in close trail to keep an eye on the initial flight. 6 test aircraft are being produced for the initial test program. The Air Force notes that, quote, the B-21 Raider is in flight testing. Flight testing is a critical step in the test campaign managed by the Air Force Test Center and 412th Test Wing's B-21 Combined Test Force, end quote. More details to follow. Samson Sky makes first full test flight. Samson Sky followed up on its recent testing with its longest voyage to date, sending their Switchblade prototype up for more than 6 full minutes aloft. The development is great news for the youthful flying car program, and so far one of the few designs that seems like a plausible product. Test pilot Robert Moll took the aircraft up well out of ground effect in a refreshing change of pace for a program that has no shortage of media showing its performance in ground effect. The Switchblade flew up to an altitude of 500 feet for a tour of the local countryside before coming back down to Grant County International Airport in Moses Lake, Washington. A short video showing off the highlights of the flight made its way to the wire in no time at all, showing off the happy crew as they celebrated the promising milestone. Team captain and designer Sam Bousfield said, quote, dreams do come true. I think this is your dream just as much as it is mine, so take a win. Together we made it happen, and I am sure we will all help bring it along until Switchblades are commonplace, end quote. Coming up after the break, EAA comments on passing of Apollo 8's Frank Borman.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. EAA comments on passing of Apollo 8's Frank Borman. EAA's Jack Pelton took a moment to comment on the passing of Apollo 8 commander and longtime EAA member Frank Borman on November 7, 2023. Quote, as one of the major players within the Apollo astronaut corps in the 1960s, Frank Borman was a person who seemed larger than life as we followed America's efforts toward a lunar landing. Frank's accomplishments, especially the unforgettable moments during the Apollo 8 mission during Christmas time in 1968, puts him among the key figures in our nation's spaceflight history, end quote. The little rover that could caps 4,000 days on Mars. NASA's handiwork continues to impress on Mars, with their Curiosity rover doggedly continuing on its mission past the 4,000th day on the planet since touching down on August 5, 2012. The rover was originally sent to evaluate the possibility of microbial activity near the 3-mile-tall Mount Sharp. The plan was for Curiosity to slowly inch its way up the mountain, using the layers of the rock to evaluate the Martial epochs as it went. The latest sample retrieved will hopefully show how the Martian climate evolved over time. SoCal World War II blimp hangar goes up in flames. The Orange County Fire Authority said a fire had destroyed a large World War II-era hangar once used to house military blimps, sadly admitting the best way to combat the blaze was to let it burn out of its own volition. The fire authority said the fire died down after the facility collapsed around 1 in the morning on November 7th, a somewhat speedy end to the all-lumber hangars. Each was 17 stories high, 1,000 feet long, and 300 feet wide. Canadian medical transporter Ornge buys a dozen PC-12s. Ornge will begin taking delivery of a dozen Pilatus PC-12s in 2026. The air ambulance and critical care provider will receive the rest of the order through 2030. The service is vital to providing reliable, quality care throughout a number of far-flung northern Indigenous communities, a task the Pilatus is well suited to. Ornge currently owns and operates a fleet of fixed and rotary wing aircraft, including 8 Pilatus PC-12NGs, which will be rotated out of service with the acquisition of new PC-12s. And that's it for today's Trip Around the Patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Virgin Galactic laying off 185 people. Virgin Galactic will lay off 18% of its employee base as the space tourism operator looks to save money and hone its focus on a newer, more profitable line of spacecraft. Along with the layoffs, the company is pausing all launches until at least midway through next year, hoping to put its resources toward a pair of new spacecraft. Once the layoffs are complete, Virgin Galactic will have only 840 full-time employees, coming away about $5 million lighter after severance and termination costs. Exact cuts remain a mystery, but execs gave the impression that most of the layoffs will be personnel associated with the VSS Unity platform, which typically launches out of its home base in New Mexico. The upcoming Delta-class spacecraft will incorporate lessons from Unity, allowing a higher operational tempo 8 times greater, with all its accompanying profitability. If projections are right, that will bring in an additional $7.2 million a month at full tilt. The first flights should take place in 2025. In typical make-or-break sink-or-swim CEO fashion, Michael Colglazer described the layoffs as a tough decision to make, but one vital to keeping the operation afloat. Coming up after these messages, PSA offering $250,000 bonuses for FedEx and UPS pilots.
Skyleader Aircraft offers a lineup of the most powerful, durable, and efficient light sport aircraft in the industry. From trainers to roomy cockpits for long hauls, Skyleader has an aircraft for you. And the best part? They're in your budget. Skyleader's base prices are set low to give you room to customize your aircraft to your needs, desires, and wallet, allowing you to put your money where it matters to you most. Visit flyskyleader.com today to learn about our aircraft, customization options, and chat with the team.
There's a lot of places I get to at the end of the runway or in turnarounds that I need an engine running. So for me, it's very important to have a product that I'm absolutely confident with. I am very confident with the Trailblazer propeller. And when I'm flying air shows, I know that propeller is going to be right for me.
Welcome back. PSA offering $250,000 bonuses for FedEx and UPS pilots. American Airlines subsidiary PSA Airlines is aiming for experienced UPS and FedEx captains in an effort to bolster their services to smaller routes, and they believe a $250,000 bonus should help to fill seats. Like so many schemes, the bonus is aimed squarely at the dearth of qualified direct entry captains in the industry. American Airlines, or more particularly its regional carriers, has seen stark contractions in service to smaller, lower activity airports around the country. Those in the know probably won't hold their breath for droves of captains to make the swap. The freight dog lifestyle isn't for everyone, but those who reach the highest levels of it are probably quite content with things there. UPS and FedEx pilots might not find the small route passenger service game all that enticing, particularly if it comes with a pay drop. PSA hopes the bonuses will defray such concerns. Should they bite, pilots will see $175,000 of the bonus drop with their first paycheck, with the remaining $75,000 coming in at their one-year anniversary. They'll stick with the CRJ 700 and 900s, with starting wages sitting at $150 to $217 an hour, depending on experience. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.